We are now going to cover how to mirror our joints from the left side of our system to the right side. To start off with, we're going to go into the Mirror Joint tool, which is under Skeleton and under Mirror Joint. We're going to go into the options for this. Okay, so we have these three main options: XY, YZ, and XZ. We're going to make sure everything is reset, and we're going to leave everything at this point. Now, what this is saying is how is it going to mirror on? So on I'm going to bring in a little plane on here. So this plane is said to be, let me put this down here. This plane is said to be on the YZ plane. And the reason why we're saying this is because down on our world orientation here, you see how Z is facing forward this way and Y is facing up. So this plane is actually on that YZ plane. So in other words, if I wanted to mirror a joint, it would be mirroring on this plane. So anything on this side would be flipped over to the other side. And this is exactly what we want. So in our settings, we want to be in the YZ plane instead of the XY or the XZ. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tell it to search for a sort of naming convention. So we have our naming convention as left and RT. So it's going to say LT is for left and then RT is for right. So anything it finds for left on this joint chain, it's going to rename it with right on our character. Okay, so hide that. And our first one we're going to do this with is our clavicle here. Now, the clavicle's all set up. Now everything has to be clean before we can do this. If you just after it, like if you don't have it oriented right or you have invalid values, you're going to have to do this again. So you got to make sure that the joint chain is clean. In this case it is. And the orientation is fine. Let's make sure we're actually in our object mode for our joints. Okay, so it's fine. And I'm going to hit apply to mirror it over, and boom, you see it mirrors it over. Now, to start off with, I want to point out something on here. As you notice that the joint chain now on the right side, and it is named right clavicle 1 and 2, and this one's our left clavicle 1 and 2, so it didn't mirror it over. You notice that the orientation is kind of different here, where X is facing down the axis this way, and then X is facing down the opposite way. Now we're going from a positive axis to a negative axis, so this is actually correct. We actually do want this to be inverted, and the reason why this is that I shift select both of these joints and decide to rotate them up. We want 60 degrees in this case to be the same on both of them that we're setting them at. If these were the exact same, the exact same orientation on the different sides, positive 60 on one side would be inverting on the other side. So in other words, right here, they'll both be 60. And the reason why we're doing this is so the animator sees this. The animator knows, oh, up is 60 degrees, and I look at the other one, up is actually the same direction. So if I want to do this for the rest of the joints in the character, I would select the next system, which is the arm, and I hit apply. There we go, good. And then we do this. And we do this for everything that's on either side. So we do this with the fingers, and we do this with arms, all independently, and you can see how they all are named. They're all correct. They're all named correct and everything is set up. And that's pretty much the mirror joint tool. We leave behavior. We put our proper naming convention for our beginning for the side, and then we pick YZ.